All right, hello, and welcome to another weekly wrap up with the trading experts. Let's get right into it, guys. Very interesting week in the market. So, in the recent weeks, this is the S&P 500 right here. The recent weeks, the market's been rallying, unrelenting rally. If you're short, you're not too happy right now. I don't care how good you are. But last week we saw something interesting happen, and it happened specifically Wednesday, where something might have changed in the market. Let's zoom in a bit. All right. So we're seeing this up move. This is the Trump rally. Up move, up move, up move. So after this day, so look, we gap up, take out all-time highs. The next 2 days, we don't do much. We consolidate. We find support. We find support at the 8-day simple moving average. Okay? So it appeared that if this trend were to continue, this were the day to get long. This is your day to reload on all your stocks. This is technically buying the dip in the market because this is all the dip it's gotten. So then you get long, and then the next day we open up at new all-time highs, try to push up and sell off. And the next day we open higher, sell off again, and now we're piercing the 8-day simple moving average to the downside. That's simply telling us something has changed in this trend. It's no longer, we're just going to bounce off it and grind higher and grind higher and grind higher. Something has changed, and when we notice something has changed, we act accordingly. So let's talk about specific market sectors. The XLF, the banks. I mean, these have remained strong as ever. Look at Goldman Sachs. Sheesh, unrelenting. But I mean, a little sideways action. But look, just broke out last week. Broke out that Wednesday. So this is very interesting. Is that the Wednesday that the market pushed to all-time highs was selling off all day. People were busy. This is Morgan Stanley. This is J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, etc., etc. The day the market was selling off, these are people stuffing their money more into the banks, more so than ever. So that's very interesting to see, and we're going to keep an eye on that. But these are the sector that's leading us up. These are controlling the market. This is where the majority of the money is being put. Another sector that remained very strong was the healthcare sector. This is the XLV. This is the basket of stocks. But now, when I say it remains strong, I'm talking about a few select stocks, the leaders in the group, which everyone is gravitating towards. Is Humana, great run. You could still use this 8-day lead. This right as the 8-day catches up, boom, lift off. And it's still riding that trend until this breaks this to the downside. You're long. You still want to be in it. Let's look at this Aetna. Very similar story. Blast off, riding the 8-day. Every time it comes close to this 8-day, blast off. Anthem's another one, and then same story. So these healthcare names are strong, but I mean there are some dogs. You got to pick the ones you want. This is Honeywell. This does not look like a long to me. This looks like more of a short, but just very interesting. Now let's look at a little heat map. There's a little heat map from this is the past 1 week in the S&P 500, and it's funny to see such a mixed bag because you look at tech, and it looks like tech has been absolutely murdered, and it's so red. Now you look down here at financials, minus the credit card processors, everything is pretty green. Everything's looking pretty good. That and with oil, so there's big news in the market in oil. So go to the USO. Here's oil chart. So before this day, everyone was looking at. I'll show you a nice little head and shoulders in the market. Here's shoulder one. Here's the head, and here's the last shoulder, which is a bearish pattern. Now they had news though. So this was Tuesday and this was Wednesday. There was a big OPEC meeting, which is all the leaders of the world in the oil space, all the Russians, all the oligarchs, all the big money guys. So they all had a meeting, and they finally decided to cut production, and even Russia got involved, which is very rare and no one expected. So this pushed oil up huge. Just got a great move out of oil. So we can look at the technicals all we want, and we see this head and shoulders, but information and market news trumps everything. They can quickly break a technical analysis trend of any sort if news comes out because that news trumps all. News trumps fundamentals, technicals, everything. So back to the heat map. So we saw the oil names all really strong. View all is green. Look at Schlumberger up 4.5%. Look at Halliburton. Wow, what a week out of Halliburton. Boom, not so bad, huh? Now we go over to Apple, down a bit in the week. Amazon down a bit. So we're seeing a very, very mixed bag, which is, again, as we always talk about, sector rotation. But it seems like what's interesting is it's happening within the market very often. It seems like, some days some stocks are getting a bump, some other stocks are falling like crazy. So we're just trying to keep up with all the market movements as they go along. Tech was a mixed bag and wasn't that great, but look at Netflix, so strong Friday. You look at Amazon, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 red bars straight. It's got to have a green day soon, right? Wrong. No, it could, but right now this is not a stock that would be wrong. Now something very interesting. Now we look to see every clue in the market possible. Everything can be a sign. Every little uptick or downtick, it's information. At the end of the day. So what was really interesting to see was these Chinese names. They're all starting to come back into play. Don't look at Thursday and Friday. We're talking about after they were destroyed and they started to uptick. This is Alibaba. We're looking at this Sina. Okay. What else is there? JD.com. Huge update breaking out right there. And Baidu. This was finally coming out of a base. But we could see in the following 2 days that Wednesday, remember we talked about Wednesday, this is the S&P, opened up higher and just sold off. And this was a big clue in the market. All the Chinese names got really hit. This had a strong day, consolidated, and then broke the inside day downwards. Alibaba, look at this, Wednesday, little inside day, started showing signs that it wasn't, then Thursday, boom, dead. So that's a huge clue in the market that you don't want to be long these China names right now. You have to take clues like that. So when they show their face like Thursday, you're not involved. You're not getting crushed. So these right now these names look like pretty good names to short across the board. Another huge clue in the market was this guy. Oh man, this guy's gonna be like fucking death. Let's talk about this trade a little bit because this is our trade of the week last week. And I was really very excited about this trade. It didn't work out, and not all the trades do. So let's talk about this trade a bit. So this name was a huge name, and it was a runner and a runner. Then they had a secondary offering that diluted the stock, and it came down a lot. It came down high. It halved. It halved. It was up in the 120s. Now it's in the 60s. So, but it looked like it was beginning to bottom. When you see like huge green bars like this on huge volume. And they had really nice earnings. Look at that earnings surprise. 23% upside. It's nice. And I looked into the earnings a bit. They were really good. So after this day, right here, I was like, all right, something's changed. This name looks like it's going to break out. So I was watching it. It didn't give me any patterns or anything, so I didn't get long it yet. And after a day like this, I'm not going to buy this day because this is such a wide range day. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till it tells me something. So this day is the day I get involved. Alright, I buy off the 72 pivot. Get myself about 800 shares, about 73, so I'm missing about $800. So I'm holding. I don't buy any more this day. Maybe I should have. Who knows? But I'm just holding, wait until it shows me something. Now this day is when I started to get really excited. It didn't have enough volume or movement like that. Let's zoom in a bit. So we're seeing this level right here that I'm looking at right here. So this day, I didn't buy any more stock. Wasn't a ton of movement. So I'm thinking to myself, this was Friday. So I'm thinking to myself, all weekend I'm thinking about the stock. I'm like, wow, Monday is going to be such a huge update. I have 800 shares. I'm a couple bucks in the money. So I'm up $1,600 in it. I'm thinking that this is going to be a 10, 15 grand trade for me. I'm going to get 2,000 shares. I'm going to sell some, 85, hold some. If it breaks the trend higher, like this is paying for a little more than Christmas for me. So Monday it opens up. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Oh man, it did me so dirty. See this tail right here on the 15? Oh man, I bought a lot of stock. So as between 78, 50, and 79, it went from 800 to 2,000 shares. And this name goes up and down $4 or $5 a day. So that's enough stock. You don't need much more than that in this name to really see some big figures. So it must have been all day traders, or the sellers were too strong. It pops up and it just comes right back, and that's just not, it's not what you want to see if you're long. So I mean, I got out of most of mine around this 76, 75, but it hurt. I lost $3 grand. You know, happens. They're not all winners. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it any differently. I believe it was a great setup as these names were coming back into play, and I know what this name can do because it's done so much through this day, low to high, 83 to 99 in one day. So I know what these names are like when you're correcting them, when you're writing them. So I felt I had a great probability trade. I had a great game plan. I was, playing off this little pivot, and I wanted to get as much stock as possible for this break, hopefully into the 90s. But it didn't work out. And now we can look back and say it was underneath these moving averages, a weaker name. But I felt it was coming back into play, had great earnings. It took out the resistance level, and it just failed. And so there's nothing to really be mad at. Just move on to the next one. So I lost a little bit of money, but I mean, I'll keep this on the radar. Right now, this needs a lot of time to repair. But what I wanted to talk about was a big clue in the market where these recent IPO names that were starting to uptick again after a big sell-off. ACIA, Twilio was another big one. This one started to come out of its base too. LN was another one. And last week, they all got crushed. So something like that is a huge, huge message telling you that the market is changing. It's not going to be this everything's going higher market, going forward. It needs to consolidate. It could come down to this 218, maybe 217 level. We could rip higher for all I know, but I would be very surprised seeing as how the latter part of our week ended up. So right now, I mean, I'm not looking to do a ton in the market right now. I'm just, we did a lot. We did a lot on this up move. So we don't want to give back all of our profits from this up move as the market's getting choppy and trying to digest this move. So we'll be buyers at 218, 217 level. We'll pick our favorite stocks. We'll definitely let you know. But right now, I mean, it's very choppy and consolidating going forward. I'm going to send this out via email, but our trade of the week is going to be this Baidu short. Now, get that out of there. All right, now we can see, let's look at, we got a huge, huge, huge wedge. Let's look at a weekly chart. Huge wedge, okay? This is what we're looking at. Now, as we spoke about earlier, the China names being very weak, now we have a catalyst on our side to go along with the chart. So that gives our trade a little more probability. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is that in the last 3 days, Wednesday to Friday, it's had 3 huge down days. Wednesday it was at 171.50, and now we're looking to get short at 160. So that's kind of tough mentally. So we want to see this go sideways a bit and then break down, so we can get a nice little tight risk. Like if it had a couple inside days right here, we could give it, we could initiate the trade through 160 and have a stop at around 164. Only $4. Looking to make, I don't know, 20. This pivot, you could look to take profits as 144. I mean, this looks like it's going to really break down hard. So this is going to be the trade of the week. I'll send a little write up in a second, but now you can hear our thinking behind this trade before the action. So that's all I got for you guys. Remember, this 8-day moving average is something we're going to be staring at this week. We're going to be watching all the sector rotation, and we're going to let you guys know. But also, the kids are going heliboarding Wednesday. We're going to Canada. We're actually going heliboarding Friday. Just regular snowboarding the rest of the days. I know, cheap guys, right? But yeah, we'll send you some videos and all that. But keep it locked. Any questions, email them over. I'll send out this trade of the week in a sec. All right, good luck. Happy trading, people. Talk to you soon.